Hey, I was thinking about something, which I often do. I was thinking about something that my coach said this morning in a recording that I was watching. He said, "Don't worry about the bad days." And I really liked that. But I had a little deeper think about that. And I thought it's great to know what not to do. But I always need to know, well, what do I do instead? And what he was talking about was in relation to achieving things. So to me, that's everybody. We're all trying to get something done in our life. It might be learn to parent better, it might be change jobs or feel better in the job that I'm in, it might be learn a new language, it might be get fitter, lose some weight, change my diet. Everybody I know has aspirations to do something differently in their lives most of the time. That is, I think, human nature is to change, is to problem solve, is to try to do things differently or better, or whatever it is. I believe it's in our nature to move in these directions. So we all face this. We all face the challenge that comes when we're trying to make a change or we're trying to achieve something, and we get the bad days. What happens for many of us is that when a bad day comes, so if it's a fitness goal that we're going after, we've spent a day wolfing down an entire chocolate cake and not going for a run. That happens, and maybe we don't feel so good physically, or we don't feel so good about how we're going towards our goal. Because it's actually, one thing I wanted to talk about as well is it's actually the towards that is the key that's important. Because achieving goals, that's what we're kind of working towards, or making changes or putting in place something, however you want to think about it. Once we've achieved it, once it's in place, that kind of happens. And if it's a habit, then it's in place. If it's a specific thing or a moment, it's done. So most of our energy, most of our focus, most of our attention needs to go on the moving towards. And that's where things can go awry if we have a perfectionistic attitude, which many of us do, that is every step of the way must be in perfect alignment towards this thing. And I love, a coach a long time ago talked to me. I always loved this metaphor of a plane is actually off course something like 90 something percent of the time. It's constantly doing this. It's constantly course correcting. So how do you course correct? If you've set yourself an aspiration and you want to get something done, and there's a day where you've just laid in bed watching Netflix all day and eating pizza or something like that, which will probably not take you in the direction of any goal or aspiration that you're working towards. So how do you not do what many of us do, which is then go into that self-judgmental, self-critical, piling on, well, that's it, I might as well not try. I might as well not go after that goal. Which, and I'll go into this in another video, is a lot of that's to do with programming, with unconscious programming from culture, from childhood, from experiences and what we've made them mean in the past. And those who are into that kind of thinking will know that if we have these unconscious or subconscious beliefs or patterns going on, we'll look for evidence of them, and then we'll blow that out of proportion in some cases so that it's true, so that whatever we think, oh, I never achieve X, Y, Z, becomes true, even though it was just a day. So don't worry about the bad days is a very good piece of advice, but then what do you do? So on one of those days, the first thing that we know to do is to accept that it's happened, and accept how we feel. So it's key in any kind of change is to not force yourself to feel particular ways or to do particular things. As soon as you add force to any kind of process, you get resistance. So if we've already hit a speed bump, we're not wanting to add in resistance to that. We're wanting to be a bit cleverer with how we work with ourselves. So the first thing to do is to accept that it's happened. To soothe yourself, to remind yourself, this is just a day. So rather than, don't worry about the bad days, that's what I say to myself. I'm like, well, this is just a day. This is not the whole thing. There are many days that are going to go into the achievement of whatever it is that I'm trying to get done. Once you do that, and maybe on that day, like you're just like, I don't want to do this thing. Ugh, it's making me feel frustrated or angry or whatever those negative feelings are. And for many of us, I think here's where it kind of gets tricky, sticky. Because if you're having negative feelings and you haven't learned how to be okay with them, how to process them properly and move through and move on, then they get pushed down because it's not okay. It's not okay that I feel depressed. It's not okay that I feel anxious about this goal or that I feel frustrated about the progress that I have or haven't made. So we need to get to that acceptance of it's totally okay. What I've done today is okay, and what I feel is okay. And there might be some deeper work there. Like, it depends. There might be some deeper work. If you're having negative feelings towards the actual goal itself, you might want to look a little bit deeper there. But say it's just a day. It's just a mood on that day. You know that you really want that particular thing. Then you need to accept, on this day, I don't want it, I hate it, it sucks. As soon as you do that, and that's okay, you need to tell yourself that's okay that I feel this way. Just giving yourself that, all right, and maybe it's come because you've pushed too hard or something's happened. It's okay that you feel that way. Then you need to think about what action, small action, because on a day like that, with a belly full of pizza or with the Netflix going, you don't want to do much, right? And you don't want to be, again, forcing things. So you want to think tiny, 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 small thing. What action can I take that will put me in the direction, not of the goal itself, but feeling good again about the goal, about taking action and about momentum? So, for example, let me think about something that's been going on in my life. I've got some writing projects going, and I was thinking about how do I feel, how do I change the way that I'm feeling about that? How do I create a more positive experience of relating to that thing? And for me, it was like, okay, before I sit down to write, I'm going to go for a walk at the beach, because that just lifts my spirits and brings in the feelings. So it brings in joy, it brings in connectedness, it brings in inspiration. And these are feelings I then want associated with that writing project. So I take that small action for the feelings it will bring. Okay, so it's taking me in the direction of those feelings. A key thing with goals that we tend to ignore is to do the celebrations. And so we need to bring that celebration down into the daily actions. So if you've made a decision to take an action that takes you in the direction of a particular feeling, you really need to acknowledge that you've done that and then that's happened, because then that reinforces the goodness of that within your system, within your unconscious mind. Yes, this is something that I want, this is good. The final step is to then, the next day, to check in and reflect and review and maybe celebrate again and maybe reset at that point. So I hope this was helpful. This is how to apply the wisdom of don't worry about the bad days, and how to turn that mindset from it's all over, I'm giving up, back into that's the feeling I want. That's why I'm going after that goal. And getting your state into that feeling by taking a small action. Hope this is helpful and that you have a great day, and I'll talk to you soon.